All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Last week, I did a video on the basics of Python, how to input numbers, and how to operate lists, I believe they're called, series, matrices, basically. Today, I will show you how to work with more types of data. Um, Today, we will import, and here we go. See, we did this last time. We have this, and if we run it, we get the result. So for this week, we are going to input this smartphone battery drain dataset as a CSV. So let's go ahead and open a, oh, not a new window, a new file. So file. So for those of you wondering, I'm using Visual Studio Code with these, what do you call it, extensions. I use Data Wrangler, the Jupyter notebooks, and the Python. Okay. Uh, so let's hide that. I'll go File, New File, open a Jupyter Notebook. All right. So as you can see, it opens a Python. So first, let's make a markdown, and I would say this Jupyter Notebook will import and visualize a CSV. So we're gonna go with import pandas. That's one of the packages we need to working with CSVs, pandas as PD, that's standard. And then we're gonna go with, we'll call it data frame, we'll call it dataset equals PD dot uh, read CSV. And then we need to make sure that this file, we save it to the same folder here. And I'm gonna call it Introductory Python 2. 2. Okay. Save. I don't have a GitHub yet. I'm still working on trying to figure that out. So that anyone that wants to, once I figure it out, I'll upload my code and everything, and all the code that I'm using, all the files that I'm using. And as you can see, I am to be a developer. You don't need to follow the trend of trying to be on Windows. I myself am using, I'll just show you. I am on Zorin 18 Pro. And since this is a machine learning laptop that I use for my machine learning and neural networks class, it does have a lot of memory, and it does have, I believe it's 8 cores. Let me double check. I open up System Monitor. Yeah, 8 cores with 16 threads. It is a, there, Ryzen 7735U. Alright, so that's my system. And then in here, we need to put the parentheses, CSV, and then for anyone, this is the music that I use. Sometimes when I play music, I like using this channel, Waifu and Chill. For now, I have it paused to prevent any copyright. Uh, Here, rename. I'm just gonna copy the name, throw it back, Control V, Control C, Control V. There we go. And now I'm going to check to see if it is imported properly. So now I'm gonna say, this is the data that was read into pandas. And then of course, we're gonna put comma and then dataset.head so we could get the first, this is the header and the header of the data that was read into. The way that Python interprets dot head is the first 5 columns, the first 5 rows, I should say, of every column. And let's see if it runs. Oh, you make sure you include the whole file name, including .csv. There we go, or else you get an error like this. And there you go, as you can see, we have all that. So now we're gonna inspect different elements of the, so here, this code chunk, I think the correct term is called a block. This code block will display the column titles. So I'll do add code. So I'm gonna say print. These are the, oh, remember the single quotes or double quotes? I prefer single quotes. These are the column titles of the dataset. And then uh, dataset dot columns. We'll see if it runs. There it goes. Now, one thing to note is that these column headings are not variable names. So far, the only variable I have introduced is the variable dataset, which has become a matrix, well, a data frame with all this information. So one other tool that I like to use is just Google, and I would say, um, how do I count the lengths of a data frame Python? And it says length, len. So let's go ahead and try that, and we'll see how long this data frame is. So, um, let me see. Okay, yeah, this data set Oh, this code chunk will count the number of rows in the dataset. We're gonna code, and we saw that we need length, so print this dataset has this many entries, and we're gonna do, you know what, let's do it with a variable. We're gonna call it lengths. We're gonna call it data L, data lengths equals len dataset. So this way we can just refer to the variable. Now what this code is gonna do is gonna use the variable data lengths, and it's gonna take the length of the dataset, and then it's gonna print the data, the oh, the dataset has this many entries, and then it'll show the result. So there's 2,503 rows on this dataset. And now, let's see, as you can see, I'm using OBS, which is available on Zorin. Um, and now, here, I'm gonna try to do something. Let's see if I remember it properly. This code chunk will count the missing values in the data set, which is print mm, dataset count, I think. Yeah, count is NA. Oh, now let me see. Oh, too many. So looking at the columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 columns. So here we can see the column names. They're right here. None of them have missing values. No. Okay. To get the actual value, instead of count, I believe it should, I got this in the wrong order. So let me just dataset dot is NA dot sum. That way it could add all of them. And as we saw, it should be 0. Yeah, see? Um, CPU usage and battery. Oh, see, I made a mistake here. Dot count. You know, oh, isn't a, see. So we know that CPU usage and battery temperature has five missing values. I don't know why the other one, but I made a mistake. So that is how we got that information. And let's get some in. Let's get one more piece of information out of this data set. This code block will output the information of every column. So we're going to do date print dataset.info, and that will give us information about every column. Oh, let's not forget the parentheses. Here it printed everything. It tells us the apps running is text, screen on time, CPU usage, battery temperature, and battery drop per hour are numbers. Network type is an object, that means it's text. Brightness level and RAM usage are numbers, integers and floats. Integers and floats I'll describe in another video. These are different types of ways that a computer interpret numbers. It all has to do with accuracy. You know, integers are the mathematical concept of whole numbers, and a float are numbers that could be decimals. And then objects are usually string characters, which, as we saw when we saw the here, we can see that app running, it said it was here. I'll just print it here so we can compare it. Print dataset dot head, so we can verify the results. We can see that it says that it's an object, so it's strings. Here we go. Then the next 1, 2, 3, 4 are decimals. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Then it says network type is text. Yep. Brightness level, it says is an integer because it has no decimals. RAM usage is a decimal right there. Charging state is and usage mode are text. Now, these, statistically speaking, these texts are categorical, but we'll discuss that in another video. So next time, I'm hoping to discuss categorical variables, or the types of variables we could have, the types of numbers that Python is used, and how we can work with categorical variables. Thank you for your time, everyone. I hope that helped.